moment, I'm sharing a screen with you, and what you can see is our project registration form, and it's starting at our introduction page. Now, the first thing I would like to bring to your attention here is what is already available in our system for guidance. And you can see here when we're talking about our REGIS user profiles and the associate investigator, we do talk about already for a satellite site of a teletrial. This is the clinician responsible for the study at the satellite site. So we have already started adding this sort of information.
If you require ethics from an ACT, New South Wales or TAS Human Research Ethics Committee, TREC, select No here to create your ethics application. Only low-risk studies are reviewed by the Tasmanian HREC in REGIS. If your application is currently being reviewed or has been approved by a HREC from another jurisdiction, such as Victoria or Queensland, select Yes here so the system does not create an ethics application. When Yes is selected, you must enter the details as prompted. If another project has already been registered using the same unique identifier or reference, a warning message will appear and will include the coordinating principal investigator's contact details. At this point, you would not complete the form. You would contact the coordinating principal investigator to have the site added to the existing project to avoid duplication in REGIS. If you indicate the study has prior ethics review, you will need to indicate if the application has also been or is being reviewed under the National Mutual Acceptance Scheme. REGIS uses smart form technology and based on your response will either hide or show fields or questions.
I have preloaded some of these questions. For example, today we have already answered our questions regarding if this is a clinical trial, and it very much is a clinical trial. It is a drug clinical trial, phase 3, through a CTN. We have a commercial entity as a sponsor, and we are using the Western Sydney HREC. So when we reach our Part C research sites, this is the section where we would be entering the information for our primary site and our satellite site. So the first thing we would do is click Add a Site, and what we are going to add is our primary site. Now currently in REGIS, there is no button for you to identify what is a primary site and a satellite site, but we will be working on that in the future. So the first thing you would do is you would select your site. Now we are going to select our LHD, which will be Western Sydney. We would select our site being our primary site. And for this example, we will use Westmead Hospital. Now you need to add your principal investigator. Now this is the principal investigator for the primary site. Now at this time, I would also recommend that the administration role is added into project registration. Now the administration role is the person that would also be receiving the email communications from the system. They would also be the person that's most likely to be entering the information into the system, as we know that it would not be the PI or the CPI. So I'm going to add my admin contact in. I'm going to give them a role, in this case, of administration. And now REGIS is asking for confirmation of the access that this person should have. Now I'm going to say this person should be able to edit, and I am then asked a further question: does this person have the authorization to submit the SSA and other project related forms? And I'm going to say yes. So this is my primary site that I have added. I will then be adding, in the exact same way as the primary site, the satellite site. So at first we add satellite site. So first we select our center. We then select our satellite site. And then we add the principal investigator. In this case, is also the principal investigator from the primary site. I then move down and I start to add my site team permissions and delegations again. Now, I want to add here my associate investigator. As we all know, we have the associate investigator at the site as the person that is in charge at the site. So I've added my associate investigator here. Now, REGIS is asking some additional questions. Will this associate investigator act as the substitute when the PI is not available? Yes, they will. Does this person have the authorization to submit? Yes, they will. Now, I would also want to add here my administration contacts. And the great thing about REGIS and this delegation functionality, that is for a clinical trial, you can have 1 associate investigator and 2 administrative contacts that can also have that delegated authority to submit. So this gives the satellite site and the primary site a real opportunity to collaborate together if needed. So we can put here in the first instance our administrative contact from the primary site if we wanted to. And we can say they have the ability to edit the forms. And in this case, we don't want the admin role from the primary site to be submitting. We just want them to be able to access and edit forms. Now we can add our next team member, and that would be if we have our administrative coordinator at the satellite site. Is the administration role. We select edit, and we are going to say that this person can submit. Now, if you wanted to, you could say that both administrative coordinators could submit. Okay, so let's do a quick recap of what we have entered at the research sites section. So, in the first instance, we have added a site which will be our primary site. We have selected the Western Sydney Local Health District with Westmead Hospital, and the principal investigator there is Kylie Becker. We move down, we look to see that there is an administration contact that has been added here, that is Corinne McDonough. She is being given access to edit the forms and also to submit on behalf of the principal investigator. Then we move down to our next site, which would be our satellite site. We have selected Western New South Wales Local Health District and Dubbo Health Service as our satellite site. Our principal investigator remains the principal investigator at the primary site, Kylie Becker. And then we move down and we can see that we have added an associate investigator, and this person will have the ability to act as the substitute PI when not available, and will also have the ability to submit forms in REGIS on behalf of the principal investigator. We have also asked in this case for the administrator for the primary site to have edit access to the satellite site as well. And then we have also included our administration for our satellite site, and he has been allowed access to edit and to submit. From here, we move through project registration as you would for any other study.
If you have indicated that your ethics is external to REGIS, you will need to upload the ethics application and documents as a single zip file. This should be uploaded under the document type Ethics Application, HARIA or Other. If ethics is also approved, the approval letter or email needs to be uploaded separately so the system recognises the approval. This needs to be under the document type Ethics Application Decision Notification.
Okay, so now we have reached the end stage of our project registration where we are being directed to submit the form. We will step through some of the notes here so you can understand what to look for to ensure that you have entered the correct information. If you are submitting one or more site-specific applications in New South Wales or Tasmania, you will see below that there should be 2 sites listed and the principal investigator's name will appear. Now, if REGIS does not indicate below that those sites are there, it will not create those site application forms. So a notification email will be sent to the CPI, anyone that has been given submitter access and administration contact. The system will then generate an email to be sent to the CPI, PIs, and the administration contact, notifying them that the applications are now ready to be completed. And where submission delegations have been indicated in project registration, the CPI or PI will now receive an email request to verify that permission. Now, this step does need to be completed before those people can actually access the sites. So where submission delegation has been indicated at Part C, it does need to be notified to the PI who does need to approve these requests. So it is important that the PI of the primary and satellite sites, if they are not the person hitting submit on this request, they respond to the email from REGIS that asks for the permission for those people to get that delegation to submit. It can be done through an email. They don't have to enter into the system. So here we can see we have our 2 sites, Westmead Hospital, Dubbo, with our PI, and we hit submit. What we will see in the first instance is that the ethics application is created There are no site applications created at this point. So what you will see in the external portal once the ethics application has been submitted is that both of the site applications are created. At the moment, they are not visibly differentiated in any way between the satellite site and the primary site. That is something we may look into in the future. However, at the moment, this now gives the researchers the ability to go in and start their site-specific applications.